Got all caught up at lunch in traffic, but here we are, and I've got this guy, a jacket on there. I did that first thing this morning, let that set up. This guy is just, the jacket is just fiberglass, some resin over top of that, just kind of auto body stuff you get at like Lowe's or Home Depot. And I did about 3 layers of that over top of this guy here. Just a really quick, fast job. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pop this guy out, but before I pop it out, there's some little rough points on here. I'm going to take some sandpaper and knock those down just a bit. So just because I'm not going to get on these points, if I was going to get out my Dremel and really smooth this guy out, I'd have a mask on and gloves and everything, but I just want to kind of knock these little points down just a little bit. I'm going to be handling this guy. Now, actually I'm going to put some gloves on because I'm going to trim this edge here. So get my gloves and my mask, just because of all the fiberglass on it. Don't want to breathe it in. Alright. You missed yesterday. I uploaded these videos to YouTube so you can watch the sculpt of this and the starting of the silicone. So we're picking up where we left off. Just going to trim the little fibrous edges of this. Alright, I got most of them. So, if I really wanted to make this look nice, I would have taken time to do the edges and everything, but this is a really quick job because I have to get this guy done fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to take some duct tape, and I'm going to duct tape around the edges here, so there's no loose fibers or anything. I know this isn't the prettiest thing, and I know my friends are making molds or looking at me just going, what the heck? But I'm doing this quick, so this is kind of a sloppy, quick job. Normally I would take the time to make this pretty, with nice pretty edges and pretty registration marks, but this is a very last minute thing that has to be done today. So, that's what we're doing. Oh, it's the postmaster. Shear, how's it going? Got people hopping in chat, right on. So, actually, you know what I should do before I do that edge? Because I'm layering it. Then I get over the silicone, I need to pop this off the silicone. So to do that, we get a screwdriver, and just work my way around. The silicone I used is Rebound 25. It's a platinum cure silicone. That kind of came off pretty easy. So there's that. Registration keys on there. You can see inside these little square things right here and right here. These will keep it from slipping around while it's inside this, and this will help it keep its form. This is the mold jacket. So there we go. Now I'll put the duct tape around the edges there to kind of get rid of some of the little nasty fibers. The last thing you want are fiberglass splinters. So this is not the optimal solution. It is a very quick solution. Mr. Badmick, how's it going? And Antioxaron, how's it going? Sweet. Yeah. It's just a quick little nasty, dirty cheat, so I don't have to Dremel the edge of this, putting just some duct tape around the edges. Yeah. I told everybody here this isn't pretty, but it's just a quick job.
It looks like a really solid.
Yeah, no, it's 3 layers.
Oh yeah.
Registration.
Did you just do one right after the other?
Yep. I just started layering them really fast.
All the same batch of.
2 batches of resin. I was gonna try to live stream it, but I just had to get it done fast.
Yep.
So.
It's that stuff will start to kick pretty quick too.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of time to explain. So, and especially with the heat.
Yeah, once it starts to get warm, yeah. That's what we found when we were doing the jacket mold on the District 9 gun.
Just kicking really fast.
Yep.
Yeah, something big like that, you really gotta move.
I wanna watch the demolding.
Yeah, it's like Christmas.
It is. It's like peeling away a present.
The silicone's the wrapping paper. All right, the prettiest thing, but there we go. Got a little air around there to kind of protect the edges of my hands. So now I'm going to slowly peel this guy back. Let's put this right here. See a little bit of the water clay dried on there. Got the eyes out. And then let the teeth just slip right out.
Fantastic.
Boom! Didn't take any of the teeth either. Wow, that stayed completely intact.
That feels good.
I know. There we go.
I did a similar mask for my Handsome Jack mask.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time I had done anything like that. And I used that oil-based clay. And it did not come out like that.
The nice thing about this monster clay is it will get pretty damn rigid when it cools. Unlike other clays which will pull apart. This stuff stays pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the silicone will draw some of the moisture out, so that's why it looks a little paler.
Yeah.
Now in comparison.
Cool.
So yeah, let's get a close up of this. So put this guy over here. Super neat. There you go.
Do a quick junk casting of this, and then.
Yeah. So.
Because there's plenty. Because you want to keep that.
Yeah. So Bill just mentioned junk casting. What we're talking about is anytime you pull a mold off, there's going to be a little debris and crap you can kind of see in the tip of the nose, a little brown, some of the clay got around there. So you do a really thin coat of resin, you slosh it around in there, and you pop that out, and that'll clean this guy up so you can get all the dirt out.
Yeah.
So that's what the junk pull is for.
Especially since you're not going to paint the final piece.
Yeah, no. The final piece is going to be tinted, dyed, and polished.
Yeah, and if there's little bits of...
Which I need to borrow your plastic polish for that.
Plastic polish?
Yeah, that I use in
Oh, that's right, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, quick question. Do you have any of that quick seal that Ted likes to use?
Quick seal? Yes,
Yeah.
I do. It should be up in that little box over there.
In that box?
Yep. That'll fit right inside there like that. I'm going to slush that back, but that's kind of loose.
In...
Oh, no. Far left.
Far left.
The far left.
Cardboard box.
Yes, that box. There we go. Boom! Okay. And I'm pretty happy with how solid that stayed. Yeah, that's all.
Oh, this stuff?
No,
Oh, wait.
okay. Crisis averted. Okay, we found the quick seal. Alright, so I'm going to set this guy back over there, and then going to get this rag ready to throw some resin in it. Okay, so just like before, I'm going to put some paper down. Clean up the area here. Another good thing about the junk mold that you're learning is how the mold works. So sometimes you'll learn trouble areas where you need to spend more focus to make sure the resin gets in, you don't get bubbles, common bubble areas. You'll figure out all the problem areas and how to slosh it around. So the first one is always a learning process. Now for resin, I'm going to be using Smooth On 65D. And I get Rebound 25 and 65D mixed up all the time. Somebody will ask me, oh, what silicone is that? I'm like, oh, it's 65D. And they'll look at me like, what? I'm like, oh, no, Rebound 25. Not good with the numbers. Apparently I just typed something when I moved my keyboard. Oh well. Mash all the buttons. And with the junk pull, I can doodle on it and try to figure out the carvings I'm going to do for the final piece too. And you guys can help me decide what looks good. And we'll go from there. Let's go back. Okay. All right. This is the gallon unit of 65D. Comes in 2 parts. You mix equal parts, so it's really simple. Got part A, yellow, and part blue. Part B, which is in the blue. If you mix any tints or anything, you're always going to mix it into this side first before you mix them together. So I don't care about tints because this is the junk pull. We'll worry about tinting it when we do the final. And then we had to play the mixing game of figuring out just the right ratio to get the perfect bone color, which took me like 3 attempts with the other one. So, okay. Let's see. So you can kind of see right around there's some clay and some junk. One thing I can do to kind of help clean that is I can do a paper towel, a little bit of rubbing alcohol in there. Kind of wipe the mold down, try to get most of the junk out. And then any little bit that's left will evaporate. Okay. So the one thing that I know is going to be a pain in the ass, it's going to be the nose. It's going to end up being really thick because I know some of the resin's going to get caught in the nose. So that's going to have to be a carved out area. Or I'm just going to have to keep... So what you can do is when you're mixing it, having a glove on and then just scooping out an area like that. So that is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. But since this is just a very fast junk pull, or quick casting, I can always figure out what my carvings or etchings are going to be, and I can make a better version of this based off the mask, and have this as a raised area, which will help keep resin from getting in there. So you'll see more what I mean when I'm actually casting it. So, let's get ready. So, I'll need a release agent. I'm partial to baby powder. Works just fine. But what you want to make sure is that after every 5 or so pulls you use this stuff because it helps keep the extend the life of your silicone and moisturize it some. So we will be using the baby powder first. And final brush. Good stuff. Okay. So I've got my popsicle sticks for mixing. I've got my little mixing cups for A and B. Get these guys at Tap Plastics. They've got milliliters, tablespoons, ounces, and DR. But they've got it. Okay. And I've got some red Dixie cups just for mixing them in. So this is a small guy. So for this chunk pull, I'm going to do, let's do 15 milliliters and 15 milliliters. So it always helps. What I like to do is I will use this little red marker deal, and I will write down on here A and B right there. You can kind of see, let me move this. Alright, so you can see A and B right here. So the reason for this is I know I keep those right there. I know which one's A, I know which one's B. And over here, I'll keep track of how many layers I use. Or how many layers I do in this. So I've got that right there. I've got my part A, I've got my part B, I've got my gloves, and I've got my Dixie cup to mix everything in. Alright, so let's get the gloves on. First of all, let's readjust this camera. Find a good angle here. Sorry if anybody's getting motion sickness. This light is causing the camera to get pretty warm. Alright. I think that's good. Alright, there we go. Whew, pop on the gloves. But first, let's throw a little music on via my phone because my poor computer can't handle it. It's too much. Alright, you guys ready to start mixing? Let's do this. Get a little B. Alright, so I want 15, so I'm going for right there. Mark them in both. Go in milliliters. I really wish we would just convert to metric already. So much easier for mixing ratios and going back and forth for volume and space, and wish we would just catch up with the rest of the world. Don't get me wrong, inches are pretty easy for visually looking at stuff, but I really prefer metric for casting. Oh my god, that's way too much. So, put a little bit too much in, that's okay. Pour a little in this other cup. I find it easier, instead of looking like this down, having it like that, because you can see the lines, even though it's semi-transparent. we go. Just that is my overflow cup. Some people get really fancy, they weigh these things out. I just mark a cup on a line. They just have to be equal parts. You want to make sure with your A that you always cap it up again, because A can get crusty and it doesn't like exposure to oxygen. So make sure that once you're done pouring it, cap it up right again. Don't leave it sitting out, or what's going to happen is when you're casting, it just starts getting really bubbly and really funky. So always make sure you're capping it up. Don't leave it sitting out for long, extended periods of time. Okay. There we go. See, I like metric or imperial. Doing the crossover is no bueno. No. Yeah, the one or the other. Okay. So I'll get my cup here. Actually, let me get a different cup. Since I'm not mixing that much, I'll use these little guys instead. Alright, popsicle stick. Pour them at the same time. Now if I was mixing a tent in, I'd pour the B in, a couple drops of the tent, and I'd mix that, and then I'd pour an A. But since I'm not doing that, I'm just pouring them both in at the same time. Okay. Science is happening. Chemicals are mixing. And in we go. Boom. See, and then it all pulls right into the nose. So that's going to be my problem there now. So I'll roll it around. I try to make sure I had nice edges instead of them blending right in, because I did that with my cultist and I'd mix it around and it would spill right out. And don't be afraid, too, if you're having trouble getting into an area, getting your hand in there and just wiping it up, or you can use one of these brushes to kind of get up the problem areas. So right now is a good time to learn the mold, see the areas that has trouble reaching. I'm already seeing a couple high points that I'm having trouble getting to. That's why it's called slush casting, because you are slushing it around. And you'll see it just start to slow down in its movement, get a little thicker. You're going to drip out, you're going to make some messes, especially with the first time of a mold. It's nice, just want to coat everything in there. And it looks clear now, but 65D will set white. So any tint that you put in 65D will lighten. So if you put in black tint, it'll go in looking jet black, but it'll come out gray. If you want solid black, they do have some stuff called onyx, and that stuff, you don't put any tints in it, it's just black naturally. It does set extremely fast, though. So it is definitely for slushing, not for poured molds. You're going to have a lot of bubble issues, unless you do a beauty coat of other stuff and then mix it in, because it's all polyurethane resin. So, okay. So I'm just going to take my finger here and try to pull some of the excess out of the nose, because I don't need any of that. And I'll wipe that around the eyes. It's very deep sockets. There we go. Still pooling in the nose a bit, so just make sure I scoop it out. Yeah, fiberglass jacket is, you can see that white edge right there. I put some tape around it. So I showed that earlier before I started pouring. No worries though. So I'll set that. Like so. Okay. Mix another set as it starts to thicken. Do the same amount. Slush casting you'll do in layers. Figure out as you're doing it how much each layer should be and how many layers you should do. It's kind of a learning process with each mold. Okay. Alternating cups. Make sure you cover everything again, and then I'll focus on the side, try to make that a little thicker. Hey Fu 1212Y and Tatio. So you can already see it starting to turn white in there. Now there are different things for stuff like this, masks, castings you can do in your slush casting that will thicken and make the resin kind of like a Crisco. There's fine powders. I've got some, but it's kind of nasty stuff, so you definitely have to wear a mask with it. But there are options, so you can actually do a beauty coat and then get it thick and then you just smear it with your hand or a popsicle stick or a brush. If I had enough time, I would have created a backing to this, so it would have been a two-part with bleeder holes here, and I would have just made a pour mold. But this is just a really quick slush casting, so didn't have time for that. Right, man, that's already set. Okay, back over here. Get some cups. I'm gonna go ahead and do 20 this time, do a little more. There's quite a few casting techniques. I'm still kind of learning. I am self-taught. learned all this on my own, asking questions, watching videos, and throwing myself into it. My first mold, or my first sculpt and mold cast ever was my Tali helmet, which you can see on my website, wmarmory.com, in my portfolio images. That was the very first one I did. I've learned quite a lot since then. And there's still a ways to go. It's one thing you learn in life, you're never done learning. Always keep learning something new. Oh god. I made a mess. Nobody saw that. It was off camera. You saw nothing. Pretty fun to pop this guy out. You know, I think this might be one of the first original sculpt and castings I've done. Everything else I've done has been, for sculpting and casting, has been a replica or inspired by. This is just my own thing. It's pretty fun. Sometimes it's fun to break away from doing replicas and copies and doing things from video games or movies. Oh, awesome! Viking Lass is hosting me. Thank you, Viking Lass. You don't know who Viking Lass is. She used to be my shopmate, April. She does awesome art stuff for live stream. Really fun, really engaging streams. Go check her stuff out. Go follow her. She is an awesome person. It's starting to get thick. It starts off pretty runny and then it gets kind of like a molasses. It goops around. Mmm, delicious. Scoop some of this out of the nose. You can feel it starting to warm up too, because the science is happening. Make sure I get in some of these sockets. These sockets are pretty deep. Can't be afraid to get in there and get messy. This might be a good mask to do the brush in stuff with, just because there are a lot of high and low points that I'm having trouble getting the silicone to stay in, not the silicone, the resin to stay in. So I want to make sure I'm getting enough in the teeth there. I wouldn't pour it directly onto my skin. That would suck. I've already. So, fun story. When I was working on Star-Lord, I didn't do a great job of making a lip around the back side of the helmet. So as I was rolling it around and I have hairy arms and I wear t-shirts a lot. That stuff just spilled out all across my arms, and let me tell you, I would have rather waxed it, because that was like hot, crusty mess that I had to pull off and shave my arms, and that was not a memorable moment. So no, I would not pour this directly on your skin. I know some people in the industry who actually shave their arms for that very reason, just because it is painful. Alright, do another coat. So you want to make sure when you're casting too that you don't let the resin sit too long, because if it sets, it'll do what's called glassing, and another layer of resin will not adhere to it, so you'll get the layers that will actually separate from themselves. So you want to make sure that you where's the toothbrush? There's the toothbrush. So you want to make sure that you are moving quick and not slowing down and not letting that set up too much. You want it to stay tacky on the inside so it's adhering to itself. Now silicone, on the other hand, it loves itself. It will stick to itself no matter what state it's in. So, on the plus side, you can pour in way too much. On the plus side, you can cut up old molds and reuse them as fillers when you're pouring other molds with silicone, so you can recycle. Alright, so since this is just the junk pull, this will probably be my last layer. 20 milliliters now. Boop. Who needs to go to the salon for waxing when you can just use resin? I don't recommend that. Don't do that. I'm a bad influence. Alright, so this will be the up. Like that. Just like that. As this fills up, there's less of an edge there, so it's easier for it to just go right out of the mold. Here. It's getting really warm. I'm picking my own nose. I'm 12, I'm sorry. Get all up in that mold. Yeah. This is the messiest part of my job. This will take about, depending on the heat, 30 minutes to set. You'll know because it'll cool down. So it'll turn to like a nice hard plastic. And then it'll be cooled down. If you pull it out and it's still too warm, it'll warp. There we go. Yeah, it's starting to kick. Alright. I think we're good. Lay it down like that so whatever's left will kind of settle towards the edges instead of pooling in the middle. Let's make sure it's not dripping down. Yeah, I'll have to grind the nose out probably with a Dremel. If I keep scooping it out, though, it won't be as bad, so that's why I keep every time there's resin in there. Scoop it out, rub it into the eyes, or rub it around the sockets, because the sockets are very deep, so I need to get it up onto the walls of the sockets. Okay. So that's kicking, that'll take a little bit. So how are you guys doing? How's the chat? And, let's see, I gotta figure out a design. So, last time I was playing around with this, but doing it across the face, so scaling it down a little bit to cover the entire mask, so it's kind of large and it goes off the edges. That was one idea. Or time to write out some kind of like script or font or something like across the face here, with some emblems and symbols on this side. A little asymmetry might look pretty cool. Make a fake nose. No. My nose is big enough, I don't need anything to it.
You will.
Yo!
I have an idea.
What?
If we can find time for it, we could cast a bunch of these and then live stream a bunch of us painting them.
Yeah, I can do that. Do them when I get back.
When we're getting drunk.
I can drink it.
When I'm getting drunk.
Okay, go.
What does the chat think about that?
What do you guys think of that? A little arting under the influence?
Yeah.
Everybody painting these guys up?
Maybe grab April, me, Brittany, you, sit around the
Yeah, that
table,
sounds like fun.
paint a bunch of those guys up.
I can probably have a shot.
We could do some giveaways.
Yeah, do some giveaways. What does the chat think about that? Huh? Do some giveaways, do some arting, do some drinking, get everybody on board?
Taddeo says yes, yes, yes. Perfect.
All right. We'll have to figure out a date, we'll announce that, and have that all set up.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and now we got like 3 of these cameras. We can have a whole thing
if you
going.
add more than 2 webcams to a computer, it starts to
Okay.
get a little...
Right.
little
Got my hopes up, but we still got at least 2 nice cameras.
Yeah. Totally.
Let's do this. I'm down.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when I get back
This
to the
is just my excuse to get one of these.
All right, so we'll set that up and let everybody know what's going on then. Ooh, got a little humid after it rained there. Yeah, April and I still haven't done arting under the influence. We gotta do that soon. There we go. That's setting up still. It's still a little tacky. Too bad, a little sticky to it. It's still warm. So that'll get nice and smooth, and then it will harden. It'll cool off, and then I can pop that guy up. And we can take a look at it. Now, remember, this is just the junk pull. This is to pull the extra crap out of the mold, learn the mold, and then after that, we'll play around with doing the actual mold. So, and then I'll have my bone tint Got to figure out the mix for that first, though. So to do that, got a bunch of colors over there. I usually go with an off-white and a yellow, or an off-white and a dab of brown. It's a pain in the ass mix to do. So I'll play around with a couple molds of that. I got little tiny molds I use to kind of get that down first before I go all into doing something like this and using up a lot of resin. Alright. Okay. So, now we get to play the waiting game. So what cool things are you guys working on in chat? Anybody working on any cool projects? Getting excited for anything like PAX or Dragon Con or any creative convention going on? So I know I'll be going to Labyrinth of Jareth and got some stuff going on, so I'm not going to be able to make it to PAX now, and Dragon Con wasn't the schedule this year, sadly. So, but I might be going to another event called Wasteland Weekend. Wasteland Weekend is a Mad Max style post-apocalyptic kind of convention out in the middle of the desert. It's like the Ren Fair, but post-apocalyptic. So I might go out and do that this year. We'll see. I've always wanted to do that. Got a lot of friends who do that, who run that, so I might do that. You'll see. So, but that's what's in the works for me. And there's also, what is there? I think there's another convention coming up in LA I might go to. A Viking battle axe, is that from something in particular, or just a Viking battle axe? Got Mr. Badmech is making a battle axe here. For the missus. Everybody's making weapons! That is awesome. Well, never a bad time to start if you want to get into cosplay or costuming. Just find something that you're passionate about, because you're going to be staring at it for a long time. I have seen more Tallies and Commander Shepards than I ever want to, because I stared at them for so long. Trying to get the armor down, trying to get it. So it's, find something you have a passion for that you really want to do and spend the time in doing. Really, it's an investment of time. And so do something that is within your skill set. Never go something crazy. If you like Gundams, probably don't do a Gundam as your first cosplay. Tone it down a bit. Go with something a little more simple that you know you can knock out. But still challenge yourself. But don't go overboard. Work your way into it. So I was crazy and I went for a full suit of armor, and that was a lot of work. But I got it done, and it was fun. It was challenging. It was a learning experience. And it's very rewarding because it's something that you made, that you have a passion for. You'll go to a convention and see someone else wearing something from the same series or genre, and then you can relate to each other. And it's wearing your fandoms on the outside, so it's a great way to meet people and get into the community and just be able to make new friends and relate to people. So cosplay can be a lot of fun and very rewarding. And everybody's excited, and everybody wants to see what you did and made, so do it. Have fun. Get into it. Yeah, normal clothes, that's the one way to do it. Find something that's normal clothes or something you can modify, and then do like a weapon. So, if it's something that you absolutely can't do, like myself in sewing, then maybe try to modify stuff. It doesn't hurt to modify. I've modified clothes before for costumes, and then just threw armor over top of it. My first undersuit was a black Under Armour shirt and baseball pants. But so much armor covered it that you wouldn't know. So, modify clothes. Yeah, I'll be doing this live stream until I get this guy done, so fortunately that's today. It'll be the last live streams for this mask. So, and then I'll be gone, and I'll be back next week, and might live stream on Wednesday. We'll see what's going on. So, and then we also have the Arting Under the Influence that we are going to be doing, so we'll have to put out a schedule for that. Alright, and my shop mate's making loud noises. Yeah, you can see it's still, the edge here is still a little stretchy. Still a little warm, still a little tacky, so it's not quite set up yet. So if I pull it out now, it would be very warm, very malleable. And I want it to be nice and rigid. And once it is rigid, anywhere where it's thin like that, I can just crack that off. I don't have to actually cut that or saw that. It'll snap because it's a weak point. And then I can just sand that edge clean. Alright, so in the meantime, I'm actually going to measure the inside of this, or the outside of the mask over there, to figure out how big this guy needs to be. To do that, I've got this tape right here, measuring tape. This is for fabric and stuff like that, but it works great when you're trying to measure a curve or an angle or anything that's not flat and straight. So it looks like about 5 inches in diameter will work for that. So I'll print out one of these in 5 inches in diameter, make a line stem, and make a stencil for that, so I can trace that on there and carve that in. Then I'll maybe do some font or something like that on that too. Don't crap everywhere. Yeah, that's another good thing, somebody mentioned in chat, is Goodwill. Don't go buy brand new clothes when you're doing like costume stuff or need to find something to modify. You'd be surprised the stuff you can find at Goodwill. I've seen somebody find like a very close to jacket for Star-Lord and modified it. So you can find a lot of stuff at Goodwill. People throw away like good clothes in the thrift store. I found stuff with this tag still on it. They must have gotten it for Christmas and didn't want it, couldn't return it, so they just gave it to Goodwill. So you'd be surprised you can find some good stuff. There's no reason to buy something brand new or to go to like those really expensive costume stores, because they're just going to rip you off. So you can see where it was very thin, the edge there was pretty easy to just kind of peel off and bend back and forth, pop off. It's still a little malleable and not quite set. You can still feel it's pretty warm. So I'm not going to pop that out quite yet. And you can see if I pull back there, it just pops loose. Unimpatient. Alright, that guy pops out pretty easy. Just slowly peel this back. I'm pretty happy with how the teeth came out. So the eyes are going to be a pain to pop. Oh, there we go. Boom! Yeah, it's still a little malleable. You can kind of see it warp a little bit. So I'm going to make sure it's set. But yeah, you can see how there's all kinds of little chunks and stuff in there, little hairs and fibers. Kind of hard to see on the white there. And you can see a little chunk there. So this junk mold or junk layer pulled out all that extra crap. So yeah, so what I would do next is I would take a Dremel and I would carve out all this extra space there to make that, take out the nose and the eye sockets. So let's see, back to knife, cut that out. Don't worry, that's just the junk pull. Down a little. There we go, and you guys can see a little better. put it back in, pull it out again. Ah! It's all good, all good. Remember, knives are pointy. Be careful. Always use caution and cut away from yourself. Do as I say, not as I do. Boom! A Deadpool costume. Well, there's a lot of good references of Ryan Reynolds in his costume right now. I would look at that for references. A lot of it's going to be sewing. I know one thing that they'll do, though, is the black part of the mask and the white part are solid, and the rest is a fabric of some sort. There's a lot of builds, especially if you check the rpf.com. Deadpool is a pretty popular character, so I would look there and see what other people have done. People have done some pretty good Deadpools, so I would check that out. But since there's a lot of sewing, if you don't sew, you might have to find someone to commission to sew that. I know that's my big dilemma, is sewing stuff. Nice to have these little tiny saws around to get in areas to cut out. I don't try to cut up to the edge. I cut close to it, and then I'll sand and clean around it. This is just to get out the bulk of the material. Really trying to avoid turning on the Dremel right now. I did about 4 layers, but this is a junk pull, so I'll actually go thicker in some of the areas for this. This is just a craft pull, just to learn the mold and get some of the pieces of clay that were stuck in out of the mold. There we go. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll probably paint my face black. And black at least around the eyes, the nose, and around here. Boom! It's a little rough around the edges here, but I'll definitely sand that out. There we go! This is the junk pull, and I'll do final pull coming up here next. That's pretty nicely. So I'm probably going to put the holes right here to strap it on. So I'll go right around the side. Oh, of course, looking at my face still. Sorry. So, punch the holes right in here. So it straps around. It'll go, should go right over my ears. And then hopefully most of the, I'll put some foam right here on the nose there, so the force will be there. I should put a little bit of padding in the brow. Cool! Alright. Now let's play around with making a bone tint. Take a picture of this. So yeah, I'm gonna drill a hole here, and I'm gonna drill a hole here, and I'm gonna just have a leather strap that ties in the back. So that's the idea right now. I'd like to do a version that has straps that go around here and kind of like strap it to your face, like a more extreme mat. I don't know. I might do a couple versions of this, but I will also be selling these on my store once I've got this guy figured out. So you guys can have your very own skull mask. How's that sound? Would you guys want to buy your own kits? Paint them up however? So I might do is carve all the details in this and then cast that one up. So there's a blank one and one with ruins in it. So I have multiple versions. And I'll put that right there. Kind of. Alright. Cool. So let's set that aside. I'll take a picture first. Yeah. I'm gonna go show Bill. See that? Yeah. Yep, good. Boom! Alright, I'm back. So, Aside. Now I'm going to pull out some tiny little molds and we're going to play with tinting. Alright. Clean up some of this mess here. Actually, I'm curious how much browns on it. Hold on. Basically, this is what I'm going to do once I got it polished up in the bone color I want. So just doing washes, so very thin down paint. Getting all the crevices, get it nice and dirty looking, and just wiping that off the high points. Alright, so put the paint away, stop playing with that. So we're going to play around with tints right now, and at 4 o'clock I'm going to take a break because I have to run to the bank. So they close, and I will come right back after that, and we'll get back into finishing this mask up. So we get about 30 more minutes. Pop this guy out here. So I made this, they're little tiles for a game. I was going to try to do this terrain. So like little cobblestone or little like flagstone kind of asymmetrical looking bricks. So I made these and I was going to use that to do a wargaming table that I never got around to. But I'm going to use this to try out bone tints. So let's get the tinting stuff. So this is tint, so you can see it's covered right now. That's brown. And then there's all these little sample ones. So I'm going to use a combination of brown, yellow, and this flesh tint color. And you barely need any. So what I like to do is snap the popsicle stick So you have a pointy end like that. And then I'll take, and this is a cup I'm gonna mix in here. So once that sets, you can actually just peel that out. Just like that. Put that extra in the trash can. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tiny little drop of this yellow, just on here. Yeah, it looks brown, but that is yellow. And then a very tiny amount of the brown. I know it looks like a tiny bit, but trust me, it goes a very long way. I'm going to try with just that and leave out this color for right now. See how that goes. Because I'm going to do a couple of these. So I just need a tiny, tiny amount. Move this out of the way. So I'm just going to do 10 milliliters here. At least need enough to mix. Which paint looks expensive? This paint? This stuff isn't too bad. This you can just get at Michael's, Basics Acrylics. It's the Liquitex brand. This stuff is great. It's pretty easy to get. So when mixing your tints, you always mix into part B first, the clear side. The pigments, no, they're not too bad. I mean, this is a lot. Like, it looks like a little bit, but a drop goes a long, long way. So this will last you. Like, I'll buy one of these and I'll use like that much for like 50 helmets. Trust me, it goes a long way. And I think it's only like 16, 20 around there. It's not bad at all. See, that is a little too yellow. So yeah, so now I know I need to ease up on the yellow. I can already tell right now that's too yellow. This kid's a tiny... Oh god, it's all over my hands. What have I done? So I think this one might already be a bust for the mix. Yeah, that's why they call this stuff so strong, because it is really, really aggressive. Now, that looks like a lot, but it will turn a lot whiter. So, trying to go for a slight off-white bone color, not a custard look. So now we're going to mix that with our A into this container here. And then using those same sticks, stir that in. Yeah, this is way too yellow. Alright. So with that said, since this is a little less of an amount, it'll kick a little faster. So let's see. Bring this guy out. It's always so satisfying just to pop that out. Ta-da! It's clean. It's even more fun with when you got silicone because it just stretches out, and it'll even take up like perfectly the little lines and measurements on the inside of there. It's very satisfying. All right, so that's it. Tiny molds here. Let's try another mix. Oh, and I mixed it up in that, so I can get a new cup. So what I should have done is mixed it in this cup. Will it get bigger as it cures? It won't get any bigger. It won't expand at all. It stays the same size. It will lighten as it cures because it cures white, so whatever pigment you put in it, it will lighten. So it looks like really yellow right now, it'll turn a lot lighter color. It's like if I put this brown in, it would be like that color, brown, very, very dark burnt umber, but it'll lighten to look almost like a very thinned down Nestle Quick chocolate. So it will always lighten. If you want more vibrant, they have other resins that will actually take the color better and stay that color, so it'll be very, very vibrant in color. Yeah, no, this will not expand as it cures. They do have ones that will, though. So Smooth-On has a wider range of materials you can get, and they're more than happy to answer your questions. They have expanding stuff, they have stuff that has different levels of rigidity, so you could have everything from like rock hard solid to very flexible and malleable. They have rubbers, they have plastics, they have silicones, they have foams, they have all kinds of stuff. And they are very resourceful on their materials. So if you have any questions or you're looking for something, they're the guys to ask. I am familiar with a few of the materials that they offer, so I would recommend going to them. Yep, you can already see it kind of start to turn lighter in the middle there as it starts to kick. So that's the resin kicking. Okay, so snap another one of these guys. Let's go with a much tinier dab of yellow. The yellow's pretty aggressive, so just that tiny little bit. And when I actually do the main thing, I'll do more. I just need to proportionate figure out the scale. And then I'll do a tiny amount of the brown. So that might be a little bit too much. Right there. I think I'm going to leave out that color. That kind of skin tone color. Oop, right. B first. The clear side. There's not much at all in there. But I just want it to be a very subtle off-white. Part to that. Oh, way too much. Yeah. aggressive. I said, a tiny bit goes a long way. But that will cure much, much later. Let's add a little bit of this. See if that does anything. Kind of looks like liquid poop. Alright, let those sit, see how well those cure. These guys are still setting up. Okay. Play around with the ruins on this guy. So I like to use a program called Inkscape to do all my scaling and doodling. It's free to download. Well, there's a pay-for version, but also a free version. It does just fine. That's how I make all my blueprints and patterns you see in my store there is via Inkscape. I thought there was a
SketchUp has a paid one.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a premium version you could...
No, Inkscape is totally
Oh, okay, never mind. Inkscape's free. I'm thinking SketchUp has a premium version. Okay. So yeah, totally free. Amazing software. Really simple, really intuitive, pretty easy to learn. There's a lot of tutorial videos for it out there, but all my blueprints are Inkscape, and I use that for scaling stuff up, or down. So I'm going to grab, import an image, and it has this awesome little ruler feature. Actually, let's swap one over to the monitor. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this is Inkscape. Yay, so you can see this is the sheet of paper. I've got this. I know I need it to be 5 inches. So, how big is 5 inches? Oh, there's a little ruler right here. If I hold control, it keeps it level, or it goes on a grid. So 5 inches is... Oh, it's at the pixel. So I gotta go up here, set it to inches. 5 inches is right about there. So, and the real trick to this is learning all the hotkeys. Mostly, it's just using the control button. So, it's about 6 inches. Five and a half. 4.9. So we'll do just a little over 5. I'm happy with that. Okay. Just a smidge smaller. Boom. Put that in the middle. I'll put that off. Boop. Okay. Close that down. Close out 7. I'm gonna make it safe. And boom. All right. Share link to what? I don't have the link set up to share here, so if there's something you want to share with me, you can share it at WM Armory on Twitter. Okay, see, that's a little too brown. That's a little too yellow. So I went too far one way and then too far the other way. Yeah, that's too much of a kind of a custardy yellow look. Oh, too close there. So yeah, too much of a custardy yellow. And this is too much of a milk chocolate color. That's not even set up yet. Okay, so need to go less on each. But I got the yellow good in here, just too much brown. So we want kind of somewhere in between these two. Alright. Cool. Okay. Pop these guys out. Set that over there. Okay. So let's do this. Let's get 10 milliliters of B. 10 milliliters of A. Remembering to close up the containers because you don't want them to get exposed to air too long. Let's see. So now I'm going to do a tiny little bit. That's more than a tiny little bit. Do equal part yellow. And then a tiny little dab of that. Alright, let's try this concoction. Kind of looks like flat Coke. I think that's what we want. Try that, see how that works. Well, this fails. I don't know, I think that staining is still pretty good. little bit of wet sanding paper, just kind of knock down the edges. And then what happens is I'll polish that up, and it'll be nice and smooth on the high points. Yeah, that's gonna look pretty sweet. Yeah, so you can see these guys are a little too brown. That's a little too custardy. That's compared to the white. What's right between those? What it might also be is the amount of resin, so there's more tint to resin, so it could be making it darker. When I actually mix and do the mask, there will be more resin, so it'll get even lighter. So that could also be the issue too, why these are a little too strong in color, but somewhere right in between there. So I think I've got it after this, but we're going to take a break so I can run to the bank, and then I'll come back, and then we'll do a final casting of this guy. Nice and thick, keep it rigid, and we'll finish this guy up. How about that? All I need is a clown nose. Oh, I printed off that symbol. Let's go check that out first. Alright, so this emblem, I'm going to carve that size onto there. And I'll use the Dremel tool to do that. And then we'll do the wash over top of that. Cool? Alright. So we'll toss these little scrap test pieces. Don't need those. So once I add more white to it, it'll pop. It'll be more of a bone color. So we'll have to cast that guy up. So A and B. Those guys sit. I'll have to make a stencil for that. Actually, I have a vinyl cutter here, so we can make a stencil that way. But to give an idea, go ahead and find my scissors. Get this guy out. Give an idea of the scale and the size. Placements. So I could do that and carve in those lines on here, or I could do like I said before and then do the script on here and more emblems across the side. So that's another option. Either way, I have the stencil. I can make a stencil and then etch that out. And to do that, I would use a Dremel piece like this. You can see how tiny that little tiny ballpoint. See on there. That little itty bitty guy is what I would use on here to etch that out. But it's 4 right now, so we're going to take a break. Maybe about 30 minutes, an hour, and I will be back. And we'll cast this guy up in bone tint. So, thanks for coming in, guys. I'll be back momentarily. Check my page out. Follow me on Twitter, on Facebook to see the announcement of when I'll be right back on. Thanks for coming in, and I'll see you soon.